starts on page 81. There's about 6 or 7 pages of pictures if you would like to look at them. The C-47s that carried the paratroopers, the inside of the C-47 showing how the paratroopers were lined up on each side of the plane facing each other with an aisle down the middle.
He's a traitor.
Paratroopers garb, what they had on, which was roughly 100 pounds that they carried on their body when they did jump. And it talks about that horrible night. It was a night drop. They didn't have navigation like we have today. A lot of the planes were off course. Men were dropped in the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah, he was lucky enough not to be one of them.
Tell them again, they're dropping into Sicily because
Yes.
some of those, the late summers.
Yes. So, in this part of the book right here is talking about that night, and Daddy has written what he experienced. And so I was going to share it with you all. And he has gone through the book and has personalized the whole book. So it's awesome if anyone I'll share would like to read it. But anyway.
You can tell she's a school teacher.
I've used this a lot in my classes. Okay. I'm adding this page because the margins are not enough room to relate the things that were going through my mind and what happened. These pages of the book pretty well tell how all of us felt. We were all nervous and scared. We also passed over anti-aircraft fire once or twice. We could see the tracers streaming from below up past the windows of the plane. As far as I know, our plane was never hit. Our red light went on finally, and we all stood up and hooked our parachute lanyards to the cable. I don't know how long we stood this way, but then the red light went out, and we were ordered to sit down again. We could feel the turning of the plane, and we knew we were lost. This happened twice. The last time we sat down, a sergeant in the medical corps named Rosenbush, and I found out from Daddy his name's Julius, and he was from New York. Julius and I accidentally swapped places. I remember so well saying, "Rosenbush, do you want to swap seats back?" And he said he was okay where he was, and it suited me. Finally, for the third time, the red light came on, and we stood up. We hooked up, and this time the green light came on, and out we went. What a great feeling it was to feel that opening slap, but the joy was short-lived. I immediately looked down, and all hell was breaking loose. Tracers everywhere. I thought, my God, what have we jumped into? And about that time, I landed in a big, sprawling olive tree. We couldn't have been over 300 feet high when we jumped. We had flown way inland and were over pretty high mountains. All the other guys did the same thing, that we hit the ground immediately. There I was, up in that tree, not knowing how far it was to the ground. Tracers were flying everywhere, explosions, and people shouting. Still wondering how high I was, I cut my reserve, loosened it, and dropped it. I heard it hit the ground almost immediately. Tracers were flying beneath me, and I could hear the bullets thudding into the tree. My decision was that this was the safest place I could be for a while, but I knew I couldn't stay there until daylight, because the best I could tell, I was about 50 yards from where all the firing and yelling and grenades were coming from. I stayed up there approximately 30 minutes, got my wits together, and gingerly slid down the backside of the big tree, and I lay behind it. I stayed there long enough to pick up the patterns of the machine guns firing over me. They were traversing the area systematically. About every 5 to 10 minutes, the rounds would come over me and thud into the tree. I decided to make a break for it. The next time they came over, I started crawling away from the source of the fire. I don't know how far I had gone until they came over me again. So close I could feel the air. I could feel the air move above me. I thought I'd had it, but they moved on. I got up and ran as fast as I could until a low hill put me out of danger. I roamed around for about 30 minutes until I found some infantry boys. They told me some artillery boys had set up a gun back at the road. So I finally found my outfit. The next morning, the Italian soldiers in the stronghold back where I had landed all surrendered. After the surrender, we found Rosenbusch's body in the wire. Now what Daddy has done is drawn a diagram of the pillboxes where they landed in this area. There was barbed wire surrounding 4 pillboxes which were divided by roads. Rosenbusch had landed in some of this barbed wire. And of course when he landed there, he couldn't get out. He was tangled with his parachute. So Daddy goes on to say, he never got out of his parachute there, but by a quirk of fate, when I have been, such are the uncertainties of war.
And by the grace
So,
of God.
if the switch hadn't happened, Daddy could have landed in the barbed wire.
Yeah.
So I think it's just
And we wouldn't all be here.
right. Is it not
None
a
of us
quirk of
would be
fate?
here.
But this is just filled with stories like this, and it's a treasure. So, you know where it is, and if anyone would like to share some of the stories, I have it. And one thing I've been thinking about is that in the future we should gather up all these treasures and keep them in one safe place together for the generations to come.
That's right.
They're kind of spread out.
That's right.
So, anyway, I just want to share.
Oh, Carol,
I
thank
think
you
it's a
so
great
much.
story.
Oh, and you did such a great job. Thank you, Carol. I mean, you're a wonderful teacher.
Oh,
Wouldn't you like to be a student?
Right.
Oh, absolutely.